This concept, women come together, contribute some little money, but what they used to do with the money is like buy household items like utensils, buy small things in the house. What you want is what they buy for you. Contribute like, say, $1 a month, equivalent to $1 a month. And there could be a group of women, like 10 of them, then they give to one of them to buy something, mainly utensils, beddings, and something like that. So from this concept, we've developed what we call now savings and credit, where we encourage women to save. Make a bigger group, save for some time, like 4 or 6 months, and after saving for that time, they're now able to borrow. And when they borrow, they pay back with interest. And why we do this is to make the thing self-sustainable, so that they don't rely on external support. The cost that they have to meet, like the person who operates the scheme, is like a trained person, a professional. They have to pay that fee. They have to pay that, not fee, but salary. So they charge a little interest on that amount so that it's self-sustainable. But we also have a waiver here for vulnerable women and women living with HIV/AIDS. Now, we realize that this can be very excluding if not handled properly, because not every woman in the community can contribute that amount of money, even that $1 a month. They don't have the capacity, financial capacity. They don't have the money. So the community sat on their own. We challenge them, we post to them, are you going to involve everybody if everybody has to give some money? So the communities on their own decided that the vulnerable women and women living with HIV/AIDS do not have to save to borrow. And when they borrow, they don't have to pay even interest, but they have to repay the capital amount. So that is also happening in our program. So they borrow money for an identified enterprise, and you have to borrow to do something. You don't have to borrow to go and eat in the house or pay school for your daughter or your son. You have to invest it in some business so that you are able to repay the loan. So after some time, these women graduate from that special group to the normal savings and credit. Now, in the normal savings and credit, now they have to save and they have to pay with interest. And they do the assessment themselves and say, I think so and so, Sandra is able now to pay with credit and is able to save. And they are asked, and they also say, yes, I think I've acquired some money. I'm now comfortable to save. I'm comfortable to pay with interest. This is to allow other women also to benefit. But it is, I think it's achieved a lot, because the women that were so desperate could not save, could not do anything, but they were allowed to borrow. They started businesses. The children are going to school. They can eat in the house. I mean, every day they can have a meal, which sometimes they could go without a meal even for 2 days. So that has had a great impact. It has had a great impact, and we are trying to replicate this in other programs. It is only in one of our programs, because as I said, our programs are still young and we can't introduce everything at once. Sorry. So we are trying to replicate this in other programs so that we can have the same. But I think it's good. It's really good, and we've seen great things happening with the money they do. Even health services access has improved, because now they have the money to go to health facility. They have the money to buy food, so malnutrition is reduced. And I think it's something great that is happening.
That's I hadn't heard about that before. That's really great, because you're reaching women who probably couldn't join a traditional, as you say, a traditional savings and credit, but then you're not just keeping them there, you're giving them the opportunity once they stabilize.
Exactly,
that's what
we do. Exactly, that's what we do, and they have to agree to the fact that once they become stable, they have to go join the regular savings and credit, so that the money can be given to another vulnerable woman who cannot afford to save. So it's revolving. It's revolving, and they're happy. Great things are happening.
Neat.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Unless you have anything else to say? This is great.
Oh yes, okay. Despite the great things that we're doing, I think we have several challenges that we still that we still face. The demand is enormous. The level of poverty is very, very high, and the impact of HIV/AIDS is very great. And if we don't address it carefully and fast enough, we might have a cyclic HIV/AIDS system. And by this I mean that most of the orphans, particularly girls, end up into sex trade, particularly if they are total orphans, to be able to get income to take care of their siblings. So that's what I'm saying, it's still a challenge, and we really have to see a way that to ensure.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
That?
Sorry.
Ooh.
We really have to see a way to ensure that the orphans are taken care of, and that they don't indulge in sex for trade.
Yeah.
And just to talk about something else now that I was talking about sex for trade, the women really face a big challenge, and I would say that is one of the highest cause of spread of HIV/AIDS. Factors like wife inheritance. It is a traditional concept that women without any strong economic power cannot say no. And because they need the men to help them bring up the children, they don't have the economic or the financial capacity to do that. So they'll give in to wife inheritance, and they don't know where the man comes from or what the HIV status is, and that really makes many women be infected with HIV and AIDS. And some know that they're positive, but they would keep quiet because they know what they want to benefit from the man. They want some sort of assistance to bring up the children. So that is still a challenge. And culture is so deeply rooted in those communities that you really have to find a working strategy. And I wouldn't say it is something that will take a year or two. This is something that has been the community ever since. So those are some of the challenges we face, that it will need time before we really unearth certain causes, particularly cultural causes of HIV and AIDS. Polygamy is another one. Female genital mutilation is another one. And there's a new concept that I didn't know of till I started working: women marrying women. I'm not talking of lesbianism here. Women marrying women. I mean, like a rich woman gets another woman, and she tells her, "You're going to be my wife, but you're free to have sex with anybody you wish, so long as you get children for me. What I'm interested is in children. How you get it is none of my business, but you're here as my wife to bring me children." So that also leads to the spread of HIV/AIDS a lot in the area. And as I say, these are some of the cultural issues that we really have to look into before we can say we're doing something. And to make worse, as I say, we work around the Lake Victoria Basin. There's another concept also that women cannot get fish from the lake from the fishermen unless you exchange sex with the fishermen, who are often infected with HIV/AIDS. So if you want to trade in fish, you also you have to be ready to trade in sex with the fishermen. And see, all these dynamics makes the fight against HIV/AIDS very complicated, and particularly for women, because they don't have a voice. They don't have a voice. They don't have a right. I mean, in most communities, women don't have no right. So they'll just say, yes, it's fine. I need the fish to go and sell, to be able to take my children to school, or take my children to hospital, or to eat, or to buy other things. So what do? He gives in to the man. And most often than not, the men that are fishermen are infected with HIV/AIDS. So those are some of the challenges we really face in the fight against HIV/AIDS. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, great. This is great. You were very good at giving the why in the program sense, and then the challenges to come. 'Cause that's fantastic. Okay.